Most modern people are deeply enveloped in psychopathy, ideology. They are non traditional. They are promiscuous, psychotic individuals with deep emotional wounds and trust issues. And the reason for this is there's a multitude of reasons, but if I had to pick one reason specifically, like what, if I had to pinpoint exactly where on the map of society is the magnitude of the disposition and the problem that is being created and continued within the society, goes to our understanding of our own self-awareness. And this just goes to show how little self-awareness people really do have, and how generally accepted it has become to become a degenerate and to be a degenerate. To be a degenerate now is actually more widely accepted than it is to be someone that is on their P's and Q's, that crosses their T's and dots their I's properly and informatively, and lives a life that is, to the best of their ability, building the life that they want to create. Women, generally speaking, do not want men to have a backbone nowadays. They may claim that, but they don't act like they do. They don't act like that's something that they want from men anymore. And the reason for this is because women are not even told that they ought to be some kind of self-aware. They may be told to go to therapy, and women do attend therapy more so than men, generally speaking. And a lot of the reasons for that is because a lot of men do not believe that therapy is worth it. And the reason men don't think therapy is worth it is because why talk about problems when you can just go out and do things to solve them? And there's a lot to be said for that kind of perspective for men. However, I also think that if you're carrying around a weight of your existence, or you're trying to figure out certain aspects of life that another man may have more knowledge or experience in, it would be highly wise of you to act in accordance to what the man with experience has to say, or at least hear him out. And the reason I do not recommend women that want to go to therapy to go to females that are therapists is because, generally speaking, female therapists do not, I do not think that women, even if they're highly educated, even if they're all of these certain things, I don't necessarily think that, even though they can be capable of the self-awareness of that they need to provide insight, I think a man that has lived through more life experiences and that has gone through the trauma and that has built himself from the trauma, because when women go through trauma, it can break them. When men go through trauma and they get out on the other side, they can actually be built into a better, stronger character. Women, it's not always like that. Subconsciously, there's an impression that's left there for a long time, and it's very difficult for women to change their ways. I cannot tell you how many times I've had women in my life. It's almost like over the age of 25, it's very challenging for them to change their ways. And I'm not saying this is all women, of course, because I know there will be some comment there, but this is, generally speaking, women over 25, it seems like they're very hard to change change their ways. And they're most impressionable between the ages of 18 to 25. And so now we're to a point to where it's dangerous for men to be men. It's dangerous, and it's not that it's dangerous because they're men. It's because everybody around them is trying to seduce them into being or taking something from them, or to be something so that they can benefit from the man. And the thing is like, once you're a godly man that has built himself into the attractive version and the most attractive version that he can be in this moment, you're going to be able to see through this stuff pretty quickly, but there are going to be a few snakes that are able to weasel their way in a little bit. But this is why I keep everybody at a distance. And this is not because I'm not capable of trust, because that's something I referenced at the beginning of this video. This is not because I want to be feared. This is not because I want to only be regarded as a dominant individual. That's not what this is about. It's about respect, and it's about showing empathy. I wish we lived in a world where I could show more compassion. I wish that we lived in a world where I could feel like I don't have to stand up for myself every fucking day of my life. Like, there's always somebody that's trying to like stop the growth, you know, and this is just part of the spiritual warfare, but that we have to go through as godly men and women. We always have to go through we always have to go through spiritual warfare, whether we're godly men or women. But it's like, holy cow. Like every single day, there's always someone. There's always something. There's always a stifling attempt to your growth. Whether the devil sends you a Jezebel, whether the devil sends you someone that's just trying to get in your way, whether the devil is trying to like attack you, like threaten you and see if you're really capable of withstanding and standing on your own 2 feet. It's just, my goodness, man. It's exhausting, but it's also character building. And I'm just to the point now to where, like, yeah, I'm going to stand up straight with my shoulders back, and I'm going to tell the world that I'm open to whatever you want to do. Like, I'm not going to try to force anything on you guys. There are people out there that'll try to force stuff on me. But guess what? I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told that, because I'm a man that values his time, energy, and resources. And these women out here that think they can tell me what to do. It's like, I'm not even the most crazy successful person in life, but I've been through a lot of shit. I've had a very hard life. But I've made it into a life that I enjoy, and I've made it into a life that is very, very, very exactly how I like it. Like, there's so much going on in my life, and yeah, there's trials and tribulations, but generally, overall, like, I couldn't ask God for anything more at this time. I've got great meals that I can prepare myself. I've got the ability to have clean water. Number 2, I've got all of my basic necessities met, and more so. I'm just so grateful for everything that I do have, because God has given me all of this stuff. And this is and it's not just like the stuff. It's the internal. It's the internal acceptance of life. The internal acceptance to bear witness to the disruptions and the wickedness and the willingness to bear through it and to continue to do the right thing, at least trying to do so to the best of my ability. Which brings me to an important point where a lot of people out here know the truth. They do. They just they just don't care. And that's why they're trying to seduce you into, whether it's through money, because there was a time during COVID, I had the opportunity to make nearly like 70 to 80% more money than I was making at the time at a different job. And it was a startup company. And this was going to be a big win for me, like financially. It was more than I could have ever like it was great. It was a great offer. Let's just leave it at that. But they wanted me to get the jab. That's what they wanted me to get. And so I had to make a decision. I had to choose between my values and my principles and my mind, my consciousness, or I had to sell my soul. And I chose not to sell my soul. I'm not going to sell my soul today, Satan. Not today. Whoa. That's what I felt like at that moment. I was just like, we're not doing that. No, it ain't going to happen. And it didn't happen. It did not. Because I knew that I wanted something more for my life. And that was a test from God, I thought at the time. Like I didn't realize it was God at the time necessarily, but I knew it was a test from the universe. I was like, man, this just doesn't feel right. This just doesn't feel right. And you'll know this kind of thing. You'll know when things just don't really feel right. Like you'll just know when something is or isn't really the way it's supposed to be, especially with people. And this is one of the other reasons why it's so dangerous as a man that has made himself into an attractive, godly man, that it's very dangerous for you. It's like you are a threat to the matrix. And so though there's going to be a lot of people that love you, there's going to be a lot of people that hate you. And I get a lot of hate and a lot of love wherever I go, it seems. And I'm okay with that. I understand. And it goes back to like, I don't like being told what to do though. And that was part of the reason I told that story just barely about the job offer, was because I don't like being told what to do. And so when these women out here, it's so crazy. They think that us men are intimidated by them. And it's like, I'm not scared of you. Like, I know how to kill a man with my bare hands. I know how to do that. I'm not saying I'm going to and I want to. I'm just saying that if the time came, I know how to do that. And I'm capable of doing so. So, no, I'm not intimidated by you. Like, there's no way I'm going to be intimidated by you or your beauty. However, have you ever thought to yourself, maybe these men just don't like loud, overtly proud, entitled, obnoxious, promiscuous women that don't really make you feel like you're special at all? like, have you ever thought about that, ladies? It's the ladies that are ungodly, that is. And because all of the women that are traditional watching this video, I don't think they're going to have a problem with anything that they're saying, that I'm saying. And ladies, your femininity is not a weakness. You may think that men trying to seduce you and men trying to get with you is like you got to keep the power. You have to hold the power. You've got to make sure, like, because what's going to happen if you don't have the power? Well, he might go away. Well, yeah, he might. Like, you might go away too. but guess what? The relationship is always better when the man is leading. And when I hear men out here talk about how They just like being told what to do by their wives because it's easier that way. The hell do you mean it's easier that way? Like what? It's easier to just have your strength and your manhood stripped from you? Like what? No. Keep your back straight. Make sure you keep your back straight. You don't need to bend forward for anybody. You don't need to bend over backwards for anybody. Just keep your back straight. Stand tall. Be who you are as a man. It's more about just being a human than anything else at that point. But women, you're right. It's not entirely. Kevin Samuels said it best. It's not your fault that society lied to you, but it is your responsibility and your duty to come to your senses. It's exactly what that needs. That's exactly what needs to happen for a lot of these women. It's not their fault that society told them to get a bunch of piercings, to shave their head, to act like a man, to think that men find you getting a degree attractive, or that you getting a career is attractive, like you not being a mom until you're 35 is attractive. You have all the time in the world. Go live life. Golly, that was something. I heard a conversation while I was in line getting my tea at a coffee shop recently, and there was this woman, and I suppose it was her grandma, and they were talking about how she's going to quit school for the time being to go to New York to start like a nanny job, and then she's going to travel while she's nannying, and she's going to travel the world. And the grandma was just so thrilled about her living her life. It's like, what? Like, do you guys even know what that means? Like, why? Like, why? Like, wouldn't you want to do that with your husband? Like, do you really want to do this alone? I mean, I'm not saying that, like, you can't, or you shouldn't, or I'm just saying, like, is that really what you want? Like, that's something else that women are not told, like, to think about, is really what they want. And nobody challenges women anymore on what they want and what they actually say that they want versus what they do when they say it. Like, it's like women are not challenged nowadays on how they behave, because they've gotten away with so many things from so many different kinds of men that it's almost like they have this internal filter structure of whenever a man starts to, like, put her in check, she just ghosts, because, well, he's not gonna talk to me like that. The man is trying to save you from yourself. Like, that's what the man is trying to do. But fellas, guess what? You don't need to do that anymore. A lot of these women have chosen where they're going. Women, you don't need to save that man. You don't need to change that man. The men out here, the modern men out here, they have chosen their ways. Almost all of the modern men and modern women have chosen the ways of promiscuity, of playing with themselves. They've chosen obesity. They've chosen laziness. They've chosen no ambition. And here you are watching this channel, because if you've made it this far into the video, I'm assuming that something is resonating or something's working for you. But you've made it this far into the video, and you've noticed that, yeah, this is kind of the things that are going on in the world. This is kind of the things that are happening. And so, yes, society has lied to you about your femininity being a weakness. Your femininity is not a weakness. Women are not supposed to be strong. They're not supposed to be like that, but they are supposed to work. They are supposed to work. What do you think the women did thousands of years ago? Like, do you think that they like put their laundry in the washing machine and then they press the button, and you think they just had to turn on the stove and press a button and then cook the food? No, 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 no. It was actual work. And men actually did actual work too. And part of the reason why I go so hard at the gym nowadays, is because for most of my life now, like God has blessed me with the ability and the opportunity to work remotely for my day job, let's say. And even here on my personal business and the consultations that I do, everything's pretty much remote, and thank God for that. But at the same time, we men need work. Like we still need work as people. We still need work. And so I take every opportunity I can to, like, while I'm renting this place, because I don't own it and I don't plan to own any place until I can put a down payment significant enough to buy something and purchase something. We all have to take risks, and we all have to understand that there's a lot of growth to do as individuals. And this is coming back to self-awareness. This is coming back to people trying to seduce you into doing things that aren't worth your time. People trying to seduce you into doing things that are going to put you back into the matrix. And that's just something that you want to stay alert for, that you just want to look out for. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful, and peace be with you till next time.